All right, so today we're really diving into some choppy waters, with this deep dive. We're tackling the impeachment of President Trump, and get this, we're doing it all through the lens of a book written for young adults.
Yeah, sometimes it's like taking a step back, simplifying things can really give you that clear view.
Yeah, I'm all about that. You know me, I love a good story.
Uh-huh.
So picture this, July 25th, 2019. Seems like a normal day, right? But what most people don't know is that there's this phone call happening that's going to send shockwaves through, well, everything. We've got President Trump on one end of the line.
And on the other, we've got Volodymyr Zelensky, the newly elected president of Ukraine.
Ukraine, yeah, it's not just any country, is it?
Right, it's strategically important. I mean, you've got this whole geopolitical tug of war going on between Russia and the West. And on top of that, they're dealing with a history of corruption.
And that corruption, that becomes a big part of everything that happens, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got Trump, we've got Zelensky. What goes down on this call?
Well, at first, it seems pretty standard. Congratulations, pleasantries, the whole shebang. But then Trump, after mentioning everything the U.S. does for Ukraine, he asks Zelensky for a favor.
A favor. I bet that's not all it was.
You got it.
Yeah.
This favor was all about launching an investigation into Joe Biden, his potential rival for the 2020 election, and into Biden's son, Hunter.
Hunter Biden. Now, he was involved with that Ukrainian energy company, right? Burisma Holdings.
That's the one. And that raised eyebrows for sure, especially because, Joe Biden, he was the vice president during all this.
Okay, so you can see where Trump and his supporters are coming from. They see this whole thing with Hunter Biden as a huge red flag, right?
Yeah.
Screaming corruption.
Right. But the Democrats, totally different story.
Yeah.
They saw Trump's request as straight up quid pro quo.
Meaning?
Basically, he's holding back almost $400 million in military aid that's supposed to go to Ukraine. And he's not letting go of it until Zelensky agrees to dig up some dirt on his opponent.
Wow. So that phrase, quid pro quo, that becomes the center of everything, right?
It's the million-dollar question. Can a president, any president, use their power like that for personal gain? Is taxpayer money their leverage?
I mean, those are some serious allegations, right? But how did any of this even come to light? This is where our mysterious whistleblower enters the picture. Imagine being a CIA officer, right? You hear about this call, this favor, and you're so disturbed that you're willing to risk your entire career, your safety even, to file a complaint.
It's an incredible act of courage when you think about it. This person is going up against the most powerful person in the world.
And it's not like their concerns were ignored.
Not at all. The Intelligence Community Inspector General at the time, Michael Atkinson, he's known for being a straight shooter. And even he deemed the complaint urgent and credible.
Urgent and credible, wow. So we've got a president asking for a favor, a whistleblower risking everything to expose the truth, and Ukraine's stuck in the middle of it all. What a mess. So what happens next?
Well, this is where things really start to heat up. The spotlight is now on Congress, and let me tell you, it is about to get messy. Get ready for closed-door hearings, leaked testimony.
This is Washington we're talking about, right?
Exactly. There's going to be political maneuvering like you wouldn't believe.
Okay, so the whistleblower complaint is out there. What happens? Does Congress just jump into action?
Oh, it's like a bomb went off in Washington. It's pandemonium. The House of Representatives, specifically the House Intelligence Committee, they take charge. They're led by Adam Schiff at this point. And they launch this huge inquiry trying to figure out if there's enough to actually impeach Trump, which is a big deal.
Right, because this isn't just some everyday congressional hearing.
This is huge. It could lead to the president being removed from office.
Okay, so Schiff and the Democrats, they're like full steam ahead, gathering evidence, building their case. What are the Republicans doing during all of this?
Oh, they're not just sitting around. Devin Nunes, he's leading the Republican charge, and he is not holding back. They're going all out defending Trump, calling the whole thing a witch hunt.
A witch hunt? Why? What are they saying?
They're saying it's all political. The Democrats are just trying to overturn the 2016 election because they can't get over it.
So you've got this massive political showdown happening, and to make it even juicier, these hearings, they start off behind closed doors.
Can you imagine the rumors, the speculation? Washington was a frenzy.
Everyone and their mother was glued to the news waiting for the next leak, right?
It was like a political thriller all playing out in real time. But even with all the secrecy, some pretty big names, people who are actually involved in all this, they start to come forward.
Yeah, and those testimonies, those are crucial, right, to understanding what really happened.
100%. We start to get a clearer picture of the timeline, the motivations behind the scenes.
So, spill the tea. Who are some of the key players, and what did they have to say?
Well, one of the most compelling figures to come forward was Marie Yovanovitch,
Yovanovitch, she was the ambassador to Ukraine,
the
right?
former ambassador, yeah.
Yeah.
And she gets recalled from her post out of the blue. Her testimony, it's a bombshell.
Okay, so what happened? Why was she recalled?
Well, according to her, she was basically pushed out because she wouldn't play ball with this whole pressure campaign on Ukraine.
A pressure campaign orchestrated by
Rudy Giuliani, Trump's personal lawyer.
Giuliani. Wow. What was Yovanovitch's take on that?
Well, she claims that she became the target of this whole smear campaign. They wanted her gone.
So it's not just about the phone call anymore. It's about...
It's about a pattern of behavior, yeah.
And Yovanovitch, her testimony, it really gets to you, you know? She talks about feeling betrayed by her own government.
She's putting a human face on this whole thing. The pressure, the fear, it definitely resonated with a lot of people.
It makes you think about what it really takes to stand up for what's right, even when it feels like you're up against a wall.
And then there's Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. He was actually listening in on that July 25th call.
Vindman, he was a decorated officer, right?
A Ukrainian-American immigrant, actually.
Yeah.
Came to the U.S. as a kid, dedicated his life to serving this country. He's not some partisan player.
So he's coming from a place of integrity here. What did he have to say?
Vindman, he did not mince words. He said straight up that he thought Trump's actions were improper and that he felt like it was his duty to report it, even if it meant risking his own neck.
Wow. I mean, this is a military man. Talk about putting your career on the line.
He argued that it was totally out of line for the president to be asking a foreign government to get involved in our elections.
So Vindman's testimony, that throws a wrench into the whole "it was a perfect call" narrative coming from the White House.
A big wrench. And it wasn't just Vindman. We also had Gordon Sondland.
Sondland, he was the U.S. ambassador to the European Union, right?
You got it. And his testimony, that was a whole other saga.
Oh, how so?
He starts off downplaying everything, saying he doesn't really know much. But then he changes his tune.
He does. What happened?
He admits that Zelensky only got a White House meeting because Ukraine agreed to announce those investigations Trump wanted.
So it's like he got caught in a lie and had to come clean.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that really bolstered the whole quid pro quo argument that the Democrats were making.
Yeah, it does seem like the walls are closing in on Trump at this point.
And to really hammer it home, the House Intelligence Committee, they released this massive report, like 300 pages, detailing all the evidence. They're saying Trump abused his power, that he obstructed Congress by trying to cover up his actions.
Okay, that's a pretty damning report. What do the Republicans say to that?
They come back with their own report, of course. They say the Democrats are twisting everything, that there is no real evidence that Trump was acting within his rights.
Talk about a stalemate.
Total gridlock. And it all leads up to this historic vote on December 18th, 2019. Imagine this. The House chamber is packed. Everyone on edge. It was a heavy day.
I mean, this is only the fourth time in history a U.S. president has faced impeachment.
Exactly. And after hours of debate, arguing, the House votes to impeach Trump on both charges. Abuse of power, obstruction of Congress, the whole 9 yards.
So that's it then. Is Trump out?
Not so fast. Now it goes to the Senate. And that's where the real battle begins.
Okay, so the House has impeached Trump. Now it's up to the Senate.
Right.
But the Senate at the time, it was controlled by Republicans, right?
Right. And not just any Republicans. A lot of them were, well, they were pretty loyal to Trump.
So you've got this impeachment trial about to start, and already it feels like the deck is stacked against the Democrats. What's the mood like as this whole thing gets going?
It's electric. All eyes are on the Senate chamber. Chief Justice John Roberts, he's presiding. Senators are sworn in like a jury. They have to listen to the evidence, be impartial.
But we're talking about Washington, D.C. here, right? Impartiality can be hard to come by.
You're telling me the Democrats, they're the ones who brought the charges. Now they have to convince a group of, shall we say, skeptical Republicans to actually remove the president from office. Talk about an uphill battle.
And how do they even begin to do that? What's their strategy?
They lay out this incredibly detailed case. They're arguing that Trump straight up abused his power, that pressuring Ukraine like that is all about helping himself win in 2020.
And then he obstructed Congress by refusing to cooperate.
Exactly. Withholding documents, blocking witnesses, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, so the Democrats are going for it, pushing for a full-blown trial, all the evidence out in the open. What are the Republicans doing while all this is going on?
It's pretty much a united front, most of them anyway. They're sticking to the script. The Democrats are desperate. This is all political theater. There's no real evidence that kind of thing.
It's like those old photos where you see two world leaders shaking hands, but behind the smiles, it's tense.
Oh, incredibly tense. And this is where things get really interesting, because the Democrats, they want to call witnesses, people who can give firsthand accounts of what went down.
Which makes sense, right? You want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
Right. And one name keeps coming up, John Bolton,
John Bolton. Wasn't he Trump's national security advisor?
the one and only.
Yeah.
And rumors had been flying around for months that Bolton, he's got some serious dirt on Trump and Ukraine. Then, and this is perfect timing, right as the trial is heating up, excerpts from Bolton's book, they get leaked to the press.
Oh, come on. That's too good to be true. What did the book say?
So according to these leaks, Bolton claims that Trump was very clear. The military aid, it was all tied to Zelensky announcing those investigations into the Bidens. No ifs, ands, or buts.
So this is it. The smoking gun the Democrats have been looking for. Did the Republicans believe it?
You know how it goes. Some of them, they were worried, even suggested maybe Bolton should testify, but the majority. They circled the wagons, doubled down.
Even with this new evidence.
They said Bolton was exaggerating, that even if it was true, it wasn't enough to remove a president.
It's like everyone's watching the same movie, but they're seeing two totally different things.
It's American politics for you. And all of this leads up to the final vote. The tension, it was unreal.
So what happened?
February 5th, 2020, the Senate votes to acquit President Trump.
On both charges.
Both of them. And it was mostly along party lines, which, let's be honest, everyone saw coming.
So Trump survives, but this whole thing, it leaves a mark, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The country's even more divided, if you can imagine that. People had dug in, and this just proved them right no matter what side they were on.
It really makes you think about how fragile things are. Our democracy, the balance of power, even just the idea of truth. It all took a hit.
It really did. But it also shows how important it is to stay informed, to be skeptical, to not just accept what you hear, even from us, Ray.
Exactly. Read the book for yourself. Do your own research. Because the more we understand our history, the better equipped we'll be to face the challenges of the future. And that's what this deep dive is all about.
Love what you're hearing? Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share it with others.